Hey guys, it's Tom Box here. Welcome to MST.TV, and finally I'm delivering to you guys the Zefra Endymion deck. This particular deck, a bit different from the other one, where it utilizes more of the Zefra engine compared to the Endymion side. Endymion engine was pretty dominant in the other builds and establishes a bit more of a simplistic negation board. This one has more complicated interactions and has a higher skill ceiling and has more room for error. So if you're not comfortable with this deck, I would recommend playing the other variants, as the other variants are a lot easier to follow. Alright guys, but being a combo oriented deck and utilizing more of your extra deck, it does offer more area. And a huge shout out to Nishi, because he provided me with most of these cards. I couldn't find most of these, and he was willing to come out at midnight in the rain to deliver me some of these cards, so huge shout out to you, buddy. And don't forget to hit subscribe if you want to stay up to date with the latest ongoing of MST.TV. So let's do this. Okay, to kick off the build, we have triple Servant of the Endymion. We want to see this as soon as possible. We want to put 3 spell counters on her as quickly as possible to summon out one of her 3 targets available. She herself will act as the material for Electromite later on. As for the other monster, it will act as a legitimate negator that's on the field. So that's why you want to play her first, leave her on the scale, get 3 spell counters on her as soon as possible, and then combo off from there. She's your combo starter, one of the opening cards that you want to see. That's why you play 3 of her, and you play triple of the spell that can dig her out. And as for the monster that she fetches out, we have a double King Jackal, and we have 1 copy of Endymion. This is my 41st card. This is a 41 card deck right now. Yeah, so for this card, I only teched it in because I don't want to deal with Sky Striker. I want the laziest way to deal with Sky Striker, which is put 1 spell counter on this and just punch until they die. Of course, if they adapt to the meta, well, I'll have to change it up. But for now, I just put this in there because there has been a couple of games which I really wish I had this card, so I shoved it in there now. And that's why it's there. And there's also been a game where I had 3 spell counters on Servant of the Endymion. However, I already burned both Jackal Kings because I opened 1 in hand and I summoned 1 from my deck, and therefore I needed another target. So the only way to put this back into the deck is to use Odd-Eyes Vortex Dragon to put it back in. So these are my bosses. They usually don't get used as link material, but it's harder to summon up to 7 because most of my scales are 7. So this guy's kind of get locked. But there is 1 card that can fetch him out, which would be the Chronograph Sorcerer. Anyways, I have another card here, which is kind of a follow-up from the Hieratic Seal of Heavenly Spheres. This one, kind of interesting. I kind of wish this was a sloth. I don't have a sloth. I've been looking through my entire collection. It's a huge mess right now. Couldn't find it, so I just went to the other go-to, which is a Morphage Goliath. Goliath kind of functions the same way. Neither player can special summon monsters from the extra deck, except for a Morphage monster, which locks people out of the extra deck, which is really nice. You can do that against a Thunder Dragon player. Normally, you combo it off of with the Sphere. So when they put out a monster, you bounce it back, and then this guy comes out. So yeah, that's pretty neat. But is it really that bad that I don't have Sloth? Sloth, I can Pendulum summon out, so it gives me another angle of play, and the scale is 3, which is a little bit better, so that I can use Zefrath as a high scale instead of a low scale. Next up, we have the Darkworm engine. The Darkworm engine, which includes, of course, 1 Supreme King Gate 0. This is very standard for any kind of Pendulum deck. You want to use Darkworm because he's basically free +1 and body when you throw him into the graveyard. And with that being said, we also have Destrudo, the Lost Dragons for Son. It's just this. We play a lot of synchros in this deck, so this is a really amazing card, especially when we do synchro into 7 a lot. And we are going to summon this guy out with LP sometimes. So we summon out with LP, which provides us with a tuner in the graveyard, so he comes back and be used as a second material on the exact same turn, which is awesome. Now, in terms of the Zefra package wise, we have 2 Zefrath. So Zefrath, why only 2? Don't you want to see this card? You do, but the thing is, multiple copies don't really benefit you for that matter. And in fact, you have so many ways of searching. You have double terraforming, triple Oracle, and you also have triple of Providence, which gives you this card anyway. And luckily, while this card is on the scale, it doesn't limit you to pendulum summoning only Zefra monsters. You don't really want your Zefra monsters on the scale for the most part, but, you know, bite me. Next up, we have Zefra Nui. the Secret of the Yangzing. This is your first pendulum summon. Usually when you pendulum summon this card out, you get to search yourself one of your Zefra cards. When you search out your Zefra, I believe spells and traps from the deck to your hand. Yes. So search for whatever that you need. Most likely you're going to search for the counter trap if you have everything already set up. But if you have your servant that's unused, you might want to go for the Providence, because Providence can go into the Oracle. And from the Oracle, you can fetch out another monster, which can fuel up your servant so that you can get another negator onto the field. That's just an option that you guys can try for. But then you do sacrifice your counter trap play. So this card is one of the necessities of the deck. And as for the other kinds of 1-ups, we have Zefra Z and Ritual Beast Tamer Zefra Wendy. You have to play the Zefra Wendy. I tried to play without it and I was completely like screwed over half the time, because if you have both your Zefra Nui already played out, then your Zefrath is either a scale 5 or a low scale, and that does not work with the numbers that you have. So you need another scale 7, and on top of a scale 7, you also need something that can give you more material. So if your board gets broken by weird chances, and you have Zefra Wendy available, you can normal summon her, add one of your Zefra monsters back to your hand, and then you get to replay it again. So it's pretty decent, really strong recovery. Zefra Z turns one of your Zefra monsters into a tuner. That's, I guess, decent, because you do play with a lot of synchros. And having an extra tuner, if you already put out another level 4 on board, this provides you with the option to synchro them off, and you get another level 7 play. So those are mainly my monsters. In terms of the chronograph package, we all know we have triple chronograph sorcerer and of course one time gazer magician. I like this card because it's a scale 8 for one part, and the other part is you get a free pop off of your own pendulum scale. Managing your pendulum scale is quite important in this deck, so that's why you need something that can give you another body. And if you're going to be comboing with your servant of the Endymion, it opens up the scale again, so that if you can activate one spell and then one more card, then you're good to go. So you're not locking your scales out in that regard. So yeah, there's that. And don't forget, Time Gazer also has an effect where each turn the first cards in your pendulum zone that would be destroyed by an opponent's card effect, it is not destroyed. So yeah, there's that. And triple Ash Blossom, because I couldn't figure out anything else I can run in here aside from like a hand trap. So it's Ash Blossom, really cheap card. It's common now, so everyone should have access to it. It's a budget deck, guys. Is this budget? It's not really that budget. Anyways, looking into the spells now, we have Dragon Shrine and Foolish Burial. Different ones, because if you open with the same ones, you're not gonna be screwed over by not being able to activate. So main targets would be Darkworm and Destrudo. Then we have triple Spell Power Mastery. You search an Endymion card. What more do you want me to say? Yeah, that's about it. Search an Endymion card. Next, Zefra Providence triple. Don't forget it has a protection effect as well from your cards being destroyed. So you're able to search for any Zefra card from your deck to your hand except for Zefra Providence. No, that's it. And then it's hard once per turn. So yeah, keep that in mind. And with that in mind, we have double terraforming. And if we're going to be doing double terraforming, we're going to be searching out our field spell of Oracle de Zefra, or Oracle of Zefra. Remember, it has a mandatory search effect, so that's not something that you can stop. Remember, when people played that field spell, the one that you give your opponent a field spell, you give them Oracle Zefra and they can't activate it, locking them out of playing with field spells. Triple Call by the Grave, because you can get interrupted by Ash, you can get interrupted by Ogre. You need to protect your investment, so Call by the Grave. And also, if you have your Servant of the Endymion, they try to Ash it or Ogre it, Call by the Grave, give you another spell counter. And finally, one copy of Divine Strike. Would I run Zefra War if I wasn't playing so many copies of maybe Providence? I could cut down one of them, or maybe I'll cut down Oracle of Zefra, because I don't need that many field spells anyway. Then I would shove it in, because it's really easy to search out a lot of these cards. So I could put in Zefra War. Zefra War, Sloth, those are two main changes, and I probably would cut out Endymion, a Master of Magic, if and only if there's no more Sky Striker. That would probably be the only reason why. But yeah, that would cover the main deck. Now onto the extra deck. So let's talk about the main monster we have, Heavy Metaphors Electromite. This is a given, guys. Do you think I'm not going to play this card? This is going to happen. Then we have Heavenly Spheres. you go into the Guard Dragon package here, so you have to play this card. And the Guard Dragon package would be LP, and we have Agripane. So this is your bit of a Guard Dragon package right here. What does Agripane summon out? So you can summon out Vortex Dragon, you can summon out basically any of your dragons. So mainly Vortex Dragon if I don't want to go into the Absolute combo. If I have Absolute combo, I might go ahead and summon out Meteor Burst Dragon instead. There are options. Then we have, of course, continuing with the Dragon package, we have Triple Burst Dragon because it's necessary in the combo. We have Boral Sword, we have Boral Load. Again, all just Dragon package right here. And then we have one Saryuja. I know this is an OCG Saryuja because my current Saryujas are in my Thunder Dragon deck and I don't want to bring it out. That's right, I'm just being a bit lazy right now. So yeah, Saryuja, just in case you want to open up your zones and you have the Guard Dragon package ready. Next, we go into the last link. We have one Nightmare Unicorn because Nightmare Unicorn is the best Link 3 monster in my opinion. Okay, to the Synchros, I have one Arcanite Magician. This guy is a machine gun. Just keep that in mind. Next, we have Odd Eyes Meteor Burst Dragon. Sometimes you'll have a scale, that 0 scale, Supreme King Gate 0 in your scale. You can summon it out, both of them being 7. You can go into Odd Eyes Absolute Dragon from that point. Or you can just, well, use Odd Eyes Meteor Burst to attack for game. So that's an option too. And another 7, we have Dawn Dragster, because you can negate spells and spell effects, spells and spell trap effects, and he's basically free. So all that negation really cripples someone really badly. Another Synchro monster I'm playing would be Borreload Savage Dragon. Borreload Savage is kind of an interesting play because you have a very specific setup to get there. You need to have already linked off. Most likely the card that's going to be dead is going to be your Electromite. So you're going to get 2 negates off of this card. And the way you set it up is that you use your Destrudo, target your level 3 while you have a Dark Worm, and then you synchro with the Dark Worm to get there and you get yourself a free negation. Don't use this as like Agripane summon because if this card is not synchro summon, it does not get those negates. And finally, the Odd Eyes Absolute package with the Vortex Dragon. I might want to run another card just so that Absolute Dragon has another target because I'm finding that I might cut the Borreload Savage for a second Vortex. Just because I've noticed that I've burned out my Odd Eyes Vortex a lot earlier recently, and I could use a second copy. So if you don't want to play Borreload Savage, play a second copy of Odd Eyes Vortex. You'll realize that you're going to summon this card out with Agripane, and if you go into Odd Eyes Absolute Dragon, you have access to it again. And usually it is the follow-up play that you find that you'll have access to more often than not. And now let's go into some combo. I'm going to do a basic combo, and then I'll also do a random hand just to see if I'm gonna brick or not. Alright, demo times. This is gonna be the basic opening combo that most of the combos are going to stem from. So this is gonna be having access to everything, depending on what your hand is, fix it yourself. So we have Zefra of the Endymion. This is the card that you want to activate first. Then we go ahead and play Foolish Burial, put 1 spell counter on here, go ahead and dump that Dark Worm. Dark Worm is going to activate, summon out, and we're going to add King Gate 0. Alright, seems pretty easy to follow. Nothing else has been activated. Now we're going to go ahead and activate Zefra's Providence. We're going to add Oracle of Zefra. That puts another spell counter for the spells. And now we're going to activate Oracle of Zefra. Pretty nice stuff. And we're going to add ourselves 1 spell counter on 1 thing and 1 Zefrath. At this point, you can do the safe thing, which is to summon out from the Servant. 1 here, and we're going to summon out the King Jackal, 1 spell counter on each. This way you're protected from any further hand trap interaction. If they had any hand trap, they didn't use it on here, they are losing out on all their opportunity to play anyone anymore. So next we activate Zefrath. This puts this at 3 spell counters so that this is now self-sufficient. And we're going to use Zefrath's effect. We're going to put Zefra Nui into the extra deck. And with that in mind, we're going to go ahead and link these 2 off into Electromite. Electromite's effect, we're going to go ahead and put a card into the extra deck. For the card we're going to want, we already have the 2 summon targets available. So for anything here, depending if you get interrupted or not, sometimes I like to put a Zefra in here. Sometimes I like to change it up, maybe put another Jackal in there. Just in case, who knows if I want another Jackal in there. So I have a Jackal over there. If you're not playing the Endymion, then I recommend just putting a smaller dude. Okay, next we're going to go ahead and play Supreme King Gate 0. And this is all pretty safe. Now this is a scale 7 now, so keep that in mind. And also with a new scale, I now have 5 spell counters, and we're gonna go ahead and activate Electromite's effect, so Jackal can protect it from being ogred. We're gonna pop this card off, and we can add ourselves Servant of the Endymion. We can reactivate this, and now we can Pendulum Summon. And before we Pendulum Summon, before I activate this Electromite's effect, I have to draw a card. This is the part where I'm going to take a look if I actually get the card I need. If I get an extra monster, that'd be perfect. Monster! I didn't get monster, but Call by the Grave, not too bad. If these are monsters, you should Pendulum Summon one more monsters on top, or perhaps you can even, just don't fill this spot. You can fill up everything except for this spot, just to keep that in mind. You want to make sure that the Dark Room's right here, if your Electromite's there, or if your Electromite is over here, make sure that your Dark Room is over here when you Pendulum Summon. You need it on your right bottom corner arrow, alright? So now we're going to go ahead and activate this. I believe this goes even higher now, whatever. It's basically maxed out on spell counters now, and you have a Call by the Grave, even better. We're going to go ahead and Pendulum Summon. And say I don't have monsters, and say all I have available is what I have right here. We're going to summon out Zefra Endymion, and we're going to summon out Dark Worm. It has to be Dark Worm because we need to go into the Dark Worm pack, Guard Dragon package. And this is going to activate. We're going to go ahead and fetch ourselves Divine Strike because we want to have full-on negation against our opponent. Alright. And here we're going to go ahead and link that off. We're going to go ahead and go into LP. Now, I don't have any arrows pointing here, so I need to link this one off into a link 3. So this one goes to extra deck, this one goes here into our triple burst. Now, LP effect, we're going to go ahead and we're going to summon out Destrudo. This Destrudo will go to the graveyard, just keep that in mind. And I'll demonstrate the extension of the play if I did have another monster. So we're going to go ahead and link these two off. This goes to grave. Actually, they both go to grave. And we'll go ahead and get ourselves an Agripane. Agripane effect, we're going to summon out, if you want negation, this is why I kind of want to run 2 Odd Eyes Vortex. We're going to summon out Odd Eyes Vortex Dragon right here. And yeah, it's pretty neat. Next, we're going to go ahead and link these two off, and we're going to get our Hieratic Seal of Heavenly Spheres. We can put them right here, because both our zones are still open right here. I guess that's fine too. And at this point, we can just set whatever that we have available. And if you look at the amount of negation that we actually have, in terms of interruption, we have Hieratic Seal of Heavenly Spheres. Now, if we did have another monster available, say this card was another monster, we can activate Destrudo and summon out Destrudo, and then we can go ahead and synchro these two off. This would go back to the bottom of the deck, and what would happen is that we would summon out a Dawn Dragster. If that was the case, say if it was the case, let's do that. Let's just say that was the case, and I would have 1 card left in my hand, and well, technically 2 cards in my hand, or 1 card, one's in grave. And finally, that would be the ending board. In terms of interaction, they summon out a monster that is perhaps threatening to you. You can go ahead and bounce it back, triggering this card itself, activating the effect. With the effect, you want to lock your opponent out from being able to play any more Yu-Gi-Oh! So that you go ahead and summon out a Morphage Goliath or a Morphage Sloth, which is my preference. And yeah, you just win the game from there. They have to clear this before they get access to their extra deck. So Thunder Dragons, which suffer, and if they try to do anything, you have a Zefra Divine Strike. So yeah, that's the basic lockout of the combo. And anything in addition is just extra. Any negation, Spell Trap negation, Monster negation, and Counter Trap. Yeah, that's basically Zefra variant of Endymion. Now let's see if I can open it, well, with a regular hand. Alright, Zefra Endymion, Oracle, Jackal King, Endymion. This is a pretty decent hand, not gonna lie. Alright, let's see what I can do. So first things off, we have Servant of Endymion. Next we'll activate Spell Power Mastery, which puts 1 and then 1. And of course I'm going to fetch, the only other card I can really fetch is this. Another Servant of Endymion. This gives me another body. Activate Oracle of Zefra. Where are you, Zephrath? There you are. Zephrath! That's 3. That's easy. Let's remove all 3 of these. Summon out the Servant and our Jackal King. Do I want to use my normal summon? I probably do. I don't have a skill 0, nor do I have a dragon. Huh. If I scale this, I need this. Activate the effect of Zefra. Let's turn him into skill 7. From here, what should I do? I have an extra Jackal King here, but I don't exactly want to pendulum summon just yet. I need to normal. Okay, well I guess normal summon's the best deal. Normal summon, we're gonna convert this into Electromite. Alright, so we now have Electromite effect. The monster I'm putting in there is going to be Supreme King Dragon Darkworm. At this point, this is going to be pendulum summoned out. Oh, and this is actually in here. I'm going to activate Zefra Endymion. I'm going to activate Heavy Metalfoes Electromite. Don't forget, this has spell counters on it too, so that you can protect yourself. Go ahead and pop this. Add back the Servant. Activate Servant again. Before that, of course, draw a card. Electromite's effect. That's pretty good. Activate Servant again. I have a Terraforming, which is not something I want to activate. And here we go. Let's do the Pendulum Summon. So I'm going to Pendulum 3. I'm going to put this one right here. I'm going to summon out Darkworm over here. And then I have Zefra Endymion over here. Okay. And this is going to Chain Link 1. Chain Link. I want to keep this one alive. So Chain Link 1, Chain Link 2. But it really, honestly, you want this one to resolve more than often than not. I'm going to fetch out that. And then we're going to go ahead and Darkworm search. There's skill 0. Activate Providence. That's 1. And with Providence, Zephyr Divine Strike. And of course, when I activate that, this also gains spell counters. So I have 2 negations from here. Convert this one. Again, why is this in the graveyard? I gotta stop putting these guys in the graveyard. Convert. LP. Convert these 2. Into Triple Burst. LP effect. Come on, LP. Destrudo. And go ahead and link those 2 off. Agripane. Where are you, Agripane? Agripane? There it is. Agripane effect. If you're going on the aggression and you want to kill your opponent, then you can go straight into a Boral Sword. Just be like, Boral Sword. What are you going to do about it? And then you go ahead and link these 2 off, Hieratic Spheres, and then you can go ahead and even make a Borreload next to that. So there's a lot of possibility. If you get into this combo going second, you should kill your opponent. But in this case, again, I go into Odd-Eyes Vortex. These 2 go into Hieratic Sphere. Wow, the combo is always the same. What a surprise. And from here, we can go ahead and activate the Destrudo, summoning out Destrudo. And okay, well, Destrudo is out now. We can go ahead and just get rid of one of these if we want. If you want. You don't have to get rid of it. If you think that the double monster negation is better, then stick with the double monster negation. And if anything happens, you go ahead and just bounce that. Bounce one of their cards back. So the amount of disruption that you have is quite a bit. Not gonna lie. But there are areas where you can still brick. If you draw a lot of your one-ofs, you're a brick. If you draw like a lot of, say, hand traps, it's going to be a brick. You're combo oriented, again, because the deck requires Servant to go off for the most part. It's going to be a bit more difficult to kind of get things started. But you do have like hand traps, and if you have like the counter trap, you have a Zephyrath, you're still basically still live for the most part. You're not going to die right away because you can counter a couple plays, which will keep you alive, and then you can try again. If they overcommit, that's when you take the counter play and just push for it and break them. But yeah, that's all I got for this video, guys. If you guys like this video, smash that thumbs up again. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and I guess I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm gonna take a bit of a break. 10 videos in 1 week, that is crazy. And I also went to work too, so I'm really dead tired. All right, see you guys later. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you like this video, please drop us a like so we know we are doing a good job. And you can also subscribe to MST.TV for more fantastic videos by clicking on the button on the left. Don't forget to check out our partners at Imperium Duelist. They make really high quality mats, including some of my own limited edition release stuff. And if you want to check out one of our past videos, click here on the right. As always, don't forget to hold on